It's very common nowadays to purchase a game, fully intent on playing it, only for it to be added to your already massive backlog. Just like many of you, I am also a victim of this way of thinking when it comes to gaming in the modern era. With so many high-quality games releasing every month, it's physically impossible to keep up. Even if you don't have a full-time job, a spouse, or other hobbies, there is simply not enough time to play every game that catches your attention. This is important to keep in mind, because the purpose of a review is not to undermine or demean a product. Similarly, it should not overinflate or falsely bolster a product's worth. Instead, it should offer a viewpoint that others may use before they form their own opinion. It should offer assistance to those who are still unsure whether they want to buy in or not. Committing to a new game costs not only your money, but your time. For this reason, I can't only speak about the good things when reviewing games, I also need to mention what could be improved. Strands is one of those games that caught my attention. Its elemental combat sandbox, paired with giant physics-based bosses, was so unique to me that I couldn't help but give it a try. Sadly, this is a case where the premise was better than my experience. I'm not saying that this is a bad game, because it really isn't, but it does feel out of focus. There are 3 major parts to this game: exploration, boss fights, and the story. The exploration and story both felt somewhat weak to me. The story didn't hook me at all, and had some other issues I will get around to. The exploration felt underwhelming, as you have an array of spells to assist you, but realistically, you only needed 1 or 2 to get around. It's not all bad though, because the last part of this game is the boss fights, and they really hit the mark on that one. Climbing on these massive enemies and controlling them with a variety of spells is incredibly rewarding. It's a shame that the other 2 parts don't live up to that standard, because it has left the game as a whole feeling confused about its own identity. You play as Bryn, a weaver, which is basically a mage, who has recently joined up with a new band of companions. Your party ends up getting trapped in an ancient magical zone called the Enclave. As the frontliner, it is up to you to continuously explore and report back to the rest. There are many dangers in this hidden world, the most fearsome being the large creatures that need to be scaled and meticulously whittled down one piece at a time. The concept of combining different spells to solve problems is solid. It's not the same style as the 2011 game Magicka or Dota 2's Invoker, where different elemental combinations create unique spells. Strands gives you a small set of individual spells and uses a physics-based model. This lets you chain spells together to manipulate enemies or the environment. The most simple example would be that you could create a block of ice, then use telekinesis to fling it at enemies. Sandbox models like this tend to have some level of jankiness to them. This is something we all accept to a certain degree in gaming. For cases such as Skyrim, it could even be considered charming. It is no different here. Being suddenly flung into the sky made me appreciate the attempt at a dynamic world, rather than making me frustrated or annoyed. Before I get into some of the issues, I want to talk about the best part of Strands, the boss battles. There are a variety of different large constructs and beasts found throughout the regions. Each of them provides you with a new spell the first time you defeat them. The highlight is that you can fight them in any way you like. The combat sandbox allows you to do whatever you want. Furthermore, nothing tells you what you should do or how you should do it. Maybe you want to freeze a giant's fist as it hits the ground, or maybe you want to create a gravity bubble on a dragon's mouth. You are free to experiment with your spells as you see fit. Test out what works and what doesn't. Each enemy is unique and has a specific set of skills. Perhaps you will struggle fighting them for the first time, but you will be learning while you do. Mastering these titans makes you feel like an expert monster hunter. There is even a special way that each boss can be killed. For example, peeling off their heavy armor plating to expose their core. Doing so will not only allow you to defeat them much faster, but also allow you to harvest their strands. This titular item is used to further upgrade your spells, making them even more deadly than before. These fights are absolutely the best part of the game. They make up the rock-solid core that I was hoping the other parts could work around. If Strands was dead set on this as its main draw-in, then I think it would have been all the better. Moving on to the exploration. It got the job done, but it felt underdeveloped. The gameplay world is structured into regions, but there isn't enough diversity between them. I wouldn't be able to tell you the names of any of them because they all felt similar. Even though I was traveling from region to region frequently, it all felt like one map in the end. Perhaps this is a good thing for continuity's sake, but I was never excited to move on. It was disappointing because if each region was more unique, it would have motivated me to spend more time exploring off the beaten path. Similar to how the regions fail to differentiate themselves visually, there is also a clear lack of mechanical complexity. Across all of my exploring, which I spent a fair amount of time doing, I never needed anything more than a gravity jump or a blast of fire. Most of the time, I was just using the big jump to clear gaps, and my flame magic to melt ice and light torches. In this world of magic, it was upsetting that I was not challenged to use new spells while exploring. This could have been solved by each region having its own twist, opening up the opportunity for bespoke puzzles. Currently, exploration feels more like a chore rather than an enjoyable way to discover new things. The story of any game can be broken down into two main parts, the narrative and the presentation. To me, Eternal Strands struggles on both accounts. Not only did the storyline itself feel weak, but it also felt forced onto you. While the voice acting and artwork is certainly very good, the lines themselves didn't give me a chance to connect with any of the characters. Everything is overly polite. Watching interactions between characters play out doesn't feel realistic. Everyone would always apologize to each other for small inconveniences or constantly hold up a fake positive outlook. I found it hard to care for any of these characters because they didn't come across as real people. The biggest impact this has is on the narrative. Because I didn't feel anything for anyone in the story, I also wasn't bothered about the hardships they were going through or the goals they wanted to achieve. Once I reached the end of the game, I didn't have any sense of accomplishment, other than I defeated a lot of cool bosses along the way. Overall, this created a situation where all of the story beats felt like a means to an end, rather than adding positive growth to the game. The presentation of the story makes this problem worse. It is already hard enough to meaningfully engage with the characters, and additionally, you aren't allowed to opt out from conversation. There is a quick start to the game to get you into the action, and the overarching story suffers from it. Not enough time is spent laying groundwork for characters to make them relatable, nor is there any real setup for the world around you. Many conversations are long, boring context dumps trying to catch you up with your surroundings. Sometimes you are required to chat to multiple people around the base to progress the story, so you end up walking back and forth, just initiating chats with them so that you can get to the next part of the game. Eventually, you will get back in the open to explore and fight more bosses. But even here, the forced conversations don't stop thanks to having an earpiece connected directly to the base. While you are exploring, your teammates will often chirp in with their opinions or start dropping information about the world around you without letting you make discoveries alone. This became really frustrating because I wasn't allowed to take in the world or think about anything for myself. The incessant chatter in my ear was enough to make me look in the settings for a way to turn this off, which you can't. It is for these reasons that I have to say I really did not like the story element. It was not able to capture my interest and became a bothersome distraction to the real heart of the game. Eternal Strands could have been an easy recommendation, but it has been spread just a little too thin. It is unnecessarily fighting an internal battle. The fantastic cinematic boss encounters are competing for your attention with a weak and underperforming story that forces itself on you. It's hard for me to recommend this as a complete package. I really enjoy the combat sandbox. It is an achievement that should not go unnoticed. This is a good foundation, and I hope that Yellow Brick Games can use this as a stepping stone to create something dedicated to one idea, something of which I have no doubt will be truly amazing. If you have enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, my channel is right here. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, and I'll see if I can make it happen. Thanks for watching.